Welcome, here is Simon speaking of 3dalmanac.com. Welcome to our today's video. So we're starting today a small series of videos about how you are buying the most clever way without spending too much and getting the most content out of it at DAZ3D.com. So it's a small series. We'll probably have 6 episodes, so let's see how many we'll have at the end. And the first episode is about 5 basic rules for buying at DAZ3D.com. So the 5 most important things, we'll go into detail about a lot of these things in the upcoming episodes, but let's get started. The first rule is pretty easy. Never buy for more than 50%. This sounds a lot. So the first thing you have to understand when buying at DAZ3D is that there are generally 2 categories of how shops do their price marketing. Though there are one kind of shops that are doing an always good prices or cheap prices marketing, and there are shops, and DAZ3D does this to an extreme, that have very high base prices but give very high sale rebates almost all the time. Why do they do this? Because we as humans are hardwired by evolution to look for good opportunities, and if we see we can save a lot, even if it's just what was calculated in earlier, our mind is going in auto modus and is very keen to grab what they can get. So they try to sell more to a price that at the end is calculated in. Why never buy for more than 50%? So 50% is more or less, at least for newer content. I don't say totally new content, but for newer content, maybe content that came out in the last year or half in a year, is where really good sale prices start. So the next question that you probably are asking, so for the stuff that is published by an PA, by a published artist, isn't this a little bit unfair for this, more or less freelance artists who are living off what you're buying? And I also thought quite a bit about this, because I really like to support these artists who are doing great work and whose work I really admire. But actually I came to the point no, because first, they know that most stuff at DAZ is only sold at high rebates, so the base prices also that the PAs are setting are also set in a way that it's okay if they only get 50%, and they also have the upside that they sell more by this this regime of a lot of interesting sales that brings people to buy more. This also means maximum 35% for DAZ originals. This means 65% rebate. Why is this the case? So we have the base rule, maximum 50%, and if you, and you should, and we will look into this in the detail in a further episode in the near future, if you are a member of the PC Plus Club, you get 30% extra on DAZ originals. So, and if you calculate, and how we calculate it. We are also going to look into in one of the next episodes if we calculate the 50% base rebate that we want to have at least, and we add the 30% rebate we get from the PC Plus Club, we come to 65%, and that's 35% of the base price we want to pay maximum for DAZ Originals. Of course, there are exceptions for this. So the first exception is it is totally okay to buy something for a higher price if this triggers a better sale. So if you have had a look at this, how the sales looks like, it does a lot of the time it is buy one of those items and you get additional rebate on those other items. There are also, especially for this yearly sales like March Madness and so on, that we're also going to look at in depth in another episode, that you have so-called punch core card sales, where, for instance, if you buy a specific, most often new and not very high rebate item, you get additional rebate for a couple of days or for the whole month-wide sale or something like that. Here it is often good to buy something at a higher price. In some cases, even buying something that you don't really need, but you have to be careful with that. And generally, with this exception, you also have to be careful that you only calculate in what you really want to buy anyway. So, of course, you can find a lot of interesting things that you can buy, and the additional rebates you get by buying the original item at a more expensive price adds up, but it is only worth it if what you are buying for the higher rebate is really something you really want to have and you really want to have now. So really calculate if it's worth it, but in a lot of cases it is. The next exception is, of course, if you really want something now or need something now, of course it is okay to buy it at a higher price, but this should really be an exception. There are some items where you really want to have them now, and they inspire you instantly to something great to create, and of course it is okay, but most of the time it is worth to be patient and just take your time. Let's come to the second rule. The second rule is follow the forums. Why? Because there are a lot of interesting deals that you can have by combining different sales. There are glitches in sales that you can use to get great rebates, and a lot of this you really learn when you closely follow the forums, and not only once a day, but if you really look there a couple of times. So there are a lot of interesting threads to follow. It is especially great to follow threads from specific PAs where you can learn a lot about products and so on, ask questions. But there are 3 threads that I would like to highlight here that are very valuable for your buying decisions. The first one is the daily sales talk. The exact name of this thread changes from time to time when the post limit is there. So currently it is named Keep Calm. There's always another sale in the comments. So here you really have daily information and talk about what are the sales, what is working, what is not working, are there any stacking sales, and so on and so on. The next one I would like to talk about is the flash sale thread. So let me also show this. So currently we have the flash sale alert 2 also in the comments. Here you get a notification, and it really makes sense to activate the notification for this one when there is a flash sale or the blink sale. These are sales that are only up for a couple of hours, sometimes even shorter. So if you have email notification up, you can catch some very nice sales that you otherwise would have missed because you didn't visit the DAZ shop multiple times a day. So then the next point, sorry for the confusion, is the freebie thread. And I'm not showing this now because this is causing problems with the presentation right now. There is also in the comments a limited time freebie announcement thread. Also good to activate mail notifications here, where people are posting if there are short time available freebies, either on DAZ itself or on some other shop or other site. You can get a lot of very nice content there for free. Sometimes there are also other freebie threads. So for instance, a lot of PAs are offering freebies in the Christmas time or around other holidays. So sometimes there are threads regarding that. Just have a look what is discussed in the forums. It will give you a lot of great content, sometimes for free, sometimes for a lot less money than you would spend otherwise. We come to rule number 3. The third rule is there is always another sale. And this is very important because you can really get in a modus where you say, oh, I have to buy this additional item, it's so cheap, and who knows when I can get this as cheap again. And actually that is what DAZ wants, because it brings us to buy more. But it's really important to always remember there is always another sale. Most good offers are repeated at least every 2 to 3 months. Some things are in good sales even more often. For the PA stuff, it really depends. There are some PAs that have very good sales all the time, and if you're following the site for some time, you will know this soon. Of course, there are some exceptions. There are some PAs that are very, very seldom in any sale. They're almost always only in the store-wide sales that are also there normally 3 to 4 times a year. So at least every 2 to 3 months you can get most offers again. And another point that is good for patient people, the older an item is, the better the rebates get. So if you don't need it now, wait. It probably won't get more expensive. It probably is going to get cheaper. The fourth rule is buy only as much as you can currently use. So there's so much interesting stuff to buy on DAZ 3D and also on other sites, and it's really important that you find something to save you from buying too much stuff. And so one good rule of thumb is only buy as much as you have time to import, to categorize, to bring in a status where you can really work with it. So probably also test it, do some test renders, whatever you do to make the content you buy accessible. So each user has a little bit different workflow. Some are using the classic library and moving folders around. Others, like I'm doing, are using the smart collections and doing custom categorizations and adding metadata for non-DAZ items and things like that. no matter how you do it, it takes a bit of time to bring something in the library for a way that you can really access it and really work with it. So a good rule of thumb is don't buy more than you can handle in your import queue. Prevent queues of untested stuff. I know what I'm talking about. I have a lot of stuff in my library and even not imported in the library, especially from stuff that I bought from other sites that I really liked when I bought, but I never came around to use it, or even worse, never came around to really import in the library. This is really dead money. It is sometimes hard to follow this rule, but it is a good rule to try to achieve as much as possible. Last but not least, the fifth rule: don't buy too much in advance. So to prevent to waste money, this is actually an add-on to the fourth rule. It is good to have an idea what you are working on, which renders, which projects you want to do in the next weeks and months, and in which order, and have an idea how long you're probably going to need for this project. And you should only buy content that you need in the next 1 to 3 months. Why? So first, we already heard every 2 to 3 months you can be pretty sure that you can buy something again. So anything that you are not going to use in the next 3 months, you can probably buy also in 3 or 4 months when it's up for sale again. The second thing is, I had it quite some time that I bought something that I was sure that I'm going to use for a project. For instance, I bought approximately a year ago a coffee shop for a project that I had in mind, where I needed a coffee shop, and it was not the nicest coffee shop, but it did what I wanted to do, and I bought it. And I knew it was a project that I probably won't do in the next month. And in the meantime, in the last year, there came out, I think, 3 or 4 coffee shop packages that are much nicer, much better, much more fitting to what I want to do. And even until now, I didn't do the project. So I bought a coffee shop that I'm probably never going to use, because when I get to the project, I'm probably going to buy until then one of the better coffee shops and going to use it. So only buy stuff that you really need in the next month. Otherwise, the chances are good that you buy something that you are never using. So much for now for the first basic rules for buying at DAZ 3D. We'll go in a lot of details in the next episodes. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for viewing. If you liked it, please share on whatever social networks you use. I think there are other DAZ users or Poser users that find this video helpful. If you also think so, please share. If you're interested in what we are doing and don't want to miss the further episodes, please subscribe our YouTube channel. We are very, very happy if you comment. I'm very keen to know what you think about what we are doing. If you have additional tips that you want to share with the other viewers, please comment. Give us your praise, of course, but also your hopefully constructive criticism. But I'm taking all kind of criticism, of course, too. So I'm very interested in your feedback. And last but not least, we are running a content directory for DAZ 3D and Poser users on www.3d-almanac.com. This is still in beta phase, but I think it's interesting for people who are looking for matching content for whatever they are doing. Have a look. If you find it helpful, use it. And also give us your feedback, what you're thinking about that. This is very valuable for us. So Last thing I can say, again, thank you for viewing. I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.